you doing, Madam Mayor?
Good evening. Good evening. I'm going to call you up and let you address the budget. And so with that being said, I decided
How y'all doing?
Good. How you doing, buddy?
Good.
That wreck,
I was watching the news when I left home.
How you doing?
24. I was watching the news when I left home.
Now you got to tune in again to see yourself on TV.
I had to watch it at 10.
You switch channels? Oh, yeah?
I watched it.
How you doing?
Enjoy your time.
Can we have this, sir?
We're hopefully only down here for 1 minute. We're hopefully only down here for 1 or 2 minutes.
Well, you may be surprised.
No, I won't be.
You'll get.
the meeting is now called to order. Let us bow our heads for a word of prayer, please. Good evening, our dear Heavenly Father. We thank you for this day, this moment, and this hour. We ask, Heavenly Father, that you would bless us and help us to conduct the business for the city and help us to conduct it in a decent and orderly manner and fashion. And we'll forever give your name the glory, honor, for it's in your Son, Jesus Christ's name we pray, and we all say amen. Amen. Let us stand and pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to our council meeting. This is a special meeting to address subject matters, budget, audit, and declare item surplus, and then we will enter into executive session. So, what we have before us, council, is the proposed budget. And I have here with the regional commission, Mr. Daniel Cummings, so would you please come down?
Evening, Mayor and Council. Can you all hear me?
We have a podium, please. You take it right there, it's accordingly to your specification.
That'll work. Appreciate that. I think you do have before you the budget. That is the mayor's proposed budget. She reached out to us beginning part of last week and requested some assistance in us helping to transcribe one. I'd be happy to just briefly walk you through what this is, and you certainly, if you have any questions now, be happy to field those. Matt Garvin from our office is also here, who is integral in kind of putting this to paper. If you'd like to take some time to ruminate over it, that's certainly fine as well. Always available for questions. Certainly, this is kind of the first stab of maybe a few along the way. But if you look at that first page there on page number 1.
Daniel, could I please interject something? I know I sent this memo to you last week, but in lieu of that, if you'll just take a brief moment and look over that, what I had proposed to go in there, that was I've decided not to go with that just yet.
Okay, so yeah, it looks like as far as the proposal goes, there will be some additional changes to what is down here.
So if you get to it.
probably gonna be a lot of changes. This is the first we've seen it, and my department and a lot of other ones probably didn't have a lot of time to put much interjection into any of this, you know. I hadn't give any numbers that I'd like to see put in it, so I'm just letting you know up front, you know, that
No,
several things.
certainly, and, you know, from our perspective, I think we understood that. This was, honestly, it was only even, you know, kind of finalized on the Friday, and it's a pretty quick turnaround, and obviously, as far as any formal adoption, we're a ways away from that. We haven't had the public hearing, haven't done the advertisement, a lot of steps away, but I think this is kind of the first stab. And so, you know, we can go ahead and talk through some as you see some issues. Feel free to note them and to, get back with us on that. We'd be happy to do that. If you notice,
Also, let me, before you proceed to go further, just to add that, you know, we just completed the audit. So with this budget, we're working on all of this to say to our council, and I think that they, as a matter of fact, I know that they're well aware that with what we've been going over, and the mayor has looked over this budget, and this is coming from the mayor as what I'm proposing to the council. So this will be to give them the opportunity to look at it, and then if they see fit to maybe make some adjustments, then I stand open and
yes, certainly, we're more the transcribers of it, the writers, as opposed to anything else. But we'd like to go ahead and point your attention to the first page. You see there's a summary of both the revenues and expenditures. You'll see the different columns that we have there, one being the budget for FY 2014, one being the actual for 2014, the variance column, the budget for 2015, the actual for 2015, and then the proposed 2016. So these would be the things that she asked us to specifically take a look at. It wasn't each line item, so where there were, we had our own methodology for the different numbers that we came up with. And I'll point out a few of those. Sometimes they ended up being an average of past years' expenses. So you will see total revenue anticipated of 1,637, or 1,000,000 rather, 637,161. Really, that was more on our end using what is the projected millage rate, the current tax digest, and then a couple of other issues. Specifically, reached out to some folks, including some folks over in Wilkinson County, to get the excise tax number. You'll see the total expenditures of 1,749,794, and for each one of most of these, it was that average of past years. And then in certain situations, based upon the memo that the mayor sends us, we made specific changes to certain line items that I will point out specifically in just a second. If you pull up over to page 2, really the outline of the revenue portion of the budget. As I mentioned before, things like property taxes, motor vehicle taxes, mobile home tax down there, those line items were taken from the current ad that was run compared to the proposed millage rate, and then also comparing that to the digest. As you can see, as compared to previous years, those have gone down. The digest did shrink quite a bit. Particularly in the areas of motor vehicle tax, which has kind of been a theme that we've seen, and then also even just in the residential property taxes. Most of the other, each of these revenue sources was taken from an average of the past few years actual. You will notice the excise tax, we reached out specifically to Wilkinson County to try to get a closer hit on that number. That number is projected to go up due to the percent of that tax going up from 75% to 100% on that 2-penny tax between really at the beginning of this next calendar year. So that's kind of a general summary. As you can see, it continues over onto page 3 as well. Certainly, if you have any questions related to that, I'll be happy to. And if I'm stuck on anything, I'll certainly refer to Matt Garber, who's here with me. All right. Moving fairly quickly on to page 4 of 11. We do have some pretty specific changes here, or kind of special additions rather. here under, which it looks like actually something that will likely change. We did have a salary change on our version of the budget for city council and mayor. That will no longer be accurate based upon the change I just received from the mayor. So that will change. You will see an increase in employee education for both the mayor and city council as well. $6,000 total, but an increase of 4 under city council and 2 under the mayor. Under financial administration, you will see a salary total there, $98,274. That was an increase from last year's projected budget of $68,563. In the memo I have from the mayor that indicates the hiring of a treasurer position at a salary of $32,000. For each one of the other
Say
salaries.
that again. Say that again, please.
As well as negotiable.
Right, so
Hey, what kind of a position?
the position listed in the memo is treasurer.
A new position?
As recommended by the auditor.
We have, clerk treasurer already.
Yes, we do, but, as it was stated in the, finale of the auditor's report.
We'll talk about
would
it
be,
later.
advantageous for us.
All right.
Which is negotiable also, from 32 plus.
Yeah, we were going specifically on the 32 as an estimate of what you might be shooting for. So, it sounds like a decision you'll all be working on amongst yourselves there. But certainly at the end of that, we'll adjust the numbers accordingly. Under judgments and damage claims, it's a new line item per the memo provided by the mayor. And that is in the amount of $50,000. Moving on to page 5. You have 2 new line items on page 5, still in financial administration as well. The last 2 would be contractual services, which we had in the amount of $30,000 per the memo received, and then a security system valued at $17,400, also recognized in that memo. All right, so you see a total there under financial administration of $358,656, and then total under general government there $495,475.
Could you explain contractual services?
Well, I received a memo that said refer to up that as a line there, but that's. Maybe the mayor can provide a little bit more guidance on what exactly those contractual services.
Exactly. Anytime there's according to the charter, contracts that need to be signed and there's not enough, expenses to cover, well, we need to have, that set aside.
That's not contractual services. If you got $30,000 set aside for contractual services, you
Well,
got to
with
have
all
a
of these-
job or a title, and it has to be approved by council first.
That too, but along with this, once again, this is the proposed coming from the mayor, and with all of these, issues of lawsuits coming up, we need, money in place. That's coming from the mayor, so.
All right, moving on to the municipal court. As with all the salaries really throughout the whole thing, beyond obviously that proposed new position of treasurer, we got the direct salary list from the city clerk and utilized that. You'll see under municipal court, the total proposed budget of $13,010. Public safety, the same thing, the salaries were taken from that current list of salaries, and then the rest of the expenses there were averaged over the past few years. Certainly, if you see specific changes, specific issues that come up with that, be happy to make some more specific changes. Those were our, best guesses, not knowing the specific policy direction of council going forward into the fiscal year.
Did you put together any kind of a proposed raise for our employees, either like a 1 or 2%?
I've already submitted that to him with that. He has
Yeah,
that.
this budget doesn't reflect that. have that, but this new one that she submitted to me does. It's something that we'd have to take back to the office, take a look at. So that would change not only salary numbers, but also the benefits numbers on each one of those. And so we'll be needing to go back through those and make the specific changes.
So with that being said, on that, I've included that, that there'll be a 2% cost of living adjustment increase, so you might want to find out more, look at that.
Sure, yeah.
As well as, and I've included a bonus with that, so.
Right, this does include the bonus. The cost of living is something that is. All right, so looking at total police proposed budget of $756,734. If you look down under the fire department, very similar. Obviously, no salaries over there, volunteer, but do have the other specific numbers there for a total fire budget of $9,800, down a little bit. So do pay attention to that.
So I wanted to ask the chief with that, as well as the education, do you all not go to training? You know, we could consider,
We do, but a lot of our
is
training.
that a grant or something
A
that?
lot of it is covered under our state. We have a tax that goes on all of the fines, have the add-on, and the state runs a fund, and if we go to Forsyth, our training is pretty much free for us to go up there.
Because I didn't understand why, but I just wanted to find out. Go ahead.
All right, very good. Moving on to animal control, there we have a total animal control budget of $4,000, which is pretty close to what the past year has been.
And that's something we'll need to consider, too, looking into, because my understanding, we still have stray dogs running around, so, with that, being on the animal control, we've got to definitely get something in place.
And just something I'm not sure I talked about in the very beginning, you'll see that the fiscal year 2015 actual, that was actual as through the middle of last week or so. So we're actually very, very close to the end of the fiscal year. And so those numbers are probably not too dissimilar to what the final will be for that. All right, so you're looking at a total public safety budget of $770,534. And then moving on to public works. See there, moving on to page 8 there. Page 8. Total there of $65,715. That's specifically under the administration related to public works. Then we have the highways, streets. Once again, the salaries taken a very similar way. It will change slightly to the 2% cost of living adjustment that was mentioned. But if you're looking at page 9, the total under there of $233,325. Solid waste collection, this has been fairly steady over the past few years. There's been an expense to the city of around $90,000. So that's the number that we have there. For total for public works being $389,040. And then we have below there mosquito control. And then once again, similar to last year, right around the 10,000 mark of $10,334. And then moving down to recreation, which is what I believe we talked pretty extensively about last time. We have a proposed budget of $5,600 based upon looking at kind of past year's actual. Then moving to pages 9 and 10, you have the parks section. Once again, kind of same methodology was used, and so total parks of $38,828 for a total culture and recreation of $44,428. Under housing and development, you see there $8,478. And then under planning and zoning, we did not have anything in the proposed budget, and so please do pay attention to that. That's something that needs to change.
Yes.
Something we're happy to remark and make that mark and alter that as well. The same under economic development. We did budget a little bit for it in the fiscal year 15 didn't have any actual in 15, but if we need to go ahead and keep some of that budgeted for the, just in case, which I believe is what was done last time, certainly happy to make that change as well. Nothing under tourism, and then so for a total housing and development of $8,478. And then you see debt service below there for the fire truck lease of $18,495, which has been a payment on that. And total debt service at that amount. So for total expenditures, $1,749,794. And so there is the mayor's proposed general fund budget. As I mentioned before, I'd be happy to field some questions now. Certainly, I understand this is the first time, really any of you have gotten a chance to take a look at it. And what I think is the mayor's intention of this being kind of the first stab. So please do mark it up, talk to us, think about it, and we'll be happy to kind of make those changes to where we can work towards something that we can get some consensus on.
You have got the, budget for 2014 and actual stuff on the revenue. You did not include the $400,000 anywhere that we took out of the One Georgia Fund and put in the budget. That would have kicked those numbers up if you had put that number in there. That took place, this year in 2014.
Yes, and my understanding is, and Matt, feel free to correct me on this, but since that was those were funds currently under city possession, they would not have been listed specifically as a revenue there, because it wasn't new funds received by the city.
That's correct. That's money that you already had. It's not really revenue coming in. So, I mean, you're utilizing it to, cover expenses, but it's not really, doesn't really get reflected in your budget.
Where would you account for that? I mean, at some point in time, how would that show up?
Well, the only place it really shows up and just says, where it's decreasing your fund balance and whatnot. It doesn't really show up on your income statement at all, really.
It does show that net change in fund balance down at the bottom of that summary page as $365,343. So I think that's just kind of where that would reflect.
Okay.
All right.
Any other questions, council, other than?
What about capital expenditures? We
Well-
usually have those, and we, have that as a presentation that comes out of SPLOST, and you have to designate them now. As we go into this budget, we have to have those numbers and figures,
Absolutely, and that's something that we talked about on the way in here. We're gonna have to take a look at that. I'm sure you guys will want a water fund budget as well, which is something we're working on kind of a tightish type frame, between Monday and now. So we have not gotten a chance to collect some of those. So certainly reach out to Tawana and to the department heads and see what, and to you all as well, and see what some of those capital outlays will be for this upcoming year. What's planned.
What is your time frame now moving forward from now to when it can be advertised? You have to set up all these meetings, you have to get all the numbers right first, so you'll have to come back to us again first.
Well, and I think that's why maybe I'm a little bit hesitant to put a very specific time frame on it, because I want to make sure we get the numbers right, that we have something that can go through the process. After that, the process will be fairly quick, and as far as the advertising of the budget and holding of the public hearing, it's not too cumbersome there, but certainly given kind of the process that was last year, we know that it may take a little bit of time. So we're really, whenever you're ready to see us next, we'll be ready with the materials and the changes that you all have for us.
So with what the mayor just added, or whatever she changed, you think about Monday, because we have a council meeting on Monday, would you have anything in place?
We can certainly make those changes and whatever other changes, mayor and council would like by that time. It's really kind of, I guess, a mayor and council decision at this point. If really they think they're getting to a draft, you'd rather think you're getting to a draft that is in some way adoptable in order to go ahead and advertise. We can't advertise for a public hearing between now and Monday, just given the paper schedule and doing all those kinds of things. To be honest, I think that would be a little ambitious at this point. We could get you a form for next Monday to discuss again, if that would give you a week to look through it. comments, give us some feedback, then certainly we'll be available to do that.
That sounds logical, okay.
I'm not sure we'll have a capital, I mean, we've got requests in, but they have to be turned in, it takes a while to get up close. We've
Okay.
been working on it about 2 weeks now, so we haven't got them all back in. And we certainly like, several things we would like to add.
Okay. Well, we'll be in touch, and if we can't have it by then, certainly there will be, more other council meetings beyond that, another one there in October as well. So, we're obviously at your pleasure, so please, if you need us, call us.
So as soon as the clerk gets all that information, she'll let me know. We'll go from there.
That will work for us.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Very good.
Thank you so much. Next order of business, is the audit for 2014-15. So would you please come, Mr. Greer?
Mayor,
Yes.
my name is Mitch Greer, I'm with Malvern and Jenkins. I'll try to be brief, but just wanted to give you an update on the September 30th, 2014 audit. At this time, the annual financial report, our management letter, and our auditor's discussion and analysis, as we call it, have all been finalized. All the appropriate filings from the state have been done. So from our end and our perspective, the September 30th, 2014 audit is complete, finalized. I did bring two things with me. If you'll remember back in August, I think the 17th, Miller Edwards from our office presented. Everything he presented that day was in draft form. I brought with me today finalized documents of our management letter and the auditor's discussion and analysis. And I believe Mark Hardison has provided the annual financial report. But I did want to point out that nothing from those draft forms has changed. Everything that was presented that night is reflected in the final report. So I didn't have anything specific to go over other than to let you know that everything's been completed, filed, and finalized. And if anybody has any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer them. But other than that, September 30, 2014 is behind us.
Let me ask you this, would this have anything to do with that letter that you received?
That's just complete, yes, ma'am, no, wait on you, that's not the one that I'm deciding.
What is that? The one that came in?
That's just a financial report we do every year. What part of it is also doing that post?
So
I left it for you to sign it down, if you went by the office bar, I left it in the council meeting, just that they wait on you to sign
Okay,
it.
but that would not hinder. Okay, so, with the next audit, we know that we're ready to begin and to start the next audit, so council, we utilize, the services of Malden and Jenkins, and do you have the engagement letter to go to engage with us today?
I don't have a specific engagement letter with me. I apologize, I didn't realize that we needed one, but we can get one as soon as we can, whenever you'd like it, but I don't have one moving tonight.
So I don't think with everything that we've had transpire in the previous year that we would have any problem. Do you all counsel, would that be a problem, retaining, Malden and Jenkins services? Continue to audit for them?
Do you think it'd be wise for us to try to advertise again for bids? We did the first time.
I see no, as far as I'm concerned, you all, I'm pretty much satisfied with their services. So I see no need to.
I'm just asking because that's, standard procedure, to ask. And I'm just asking, that's all.
Of course, I've not seen it in the written in stone, but I'm open to counsel. So the mere fact of the matter is that you all do very fine job, so counsel, so that they will know. I'd like to think that we could go ahead and make a decision in agreement tonight to retain them as a, and besides, if you go and get somebody else that might charge us an arm and a leg, these people, the longer you stay with them, I think you do give us discount or a certain percentage off, you know?
Well, yeah, and, the, kind of a rough estimate would be probably about 50% of what was charged this year. For the 2014 audit, obviously it was our first year doing the audit. There's a lot of first year costs that go into it that we don't necessarily have going forward. We have a pretty strong understanding of who does what, how things work. So a rough estimate would be about 50% of what was charged.
So it just make good sense to, say good,
I think we still need to put the letter in there.
I didn't come prepared to make that decision tonight. I'd like for us to table any decision that's made on any auditor that's gonna be hired until after our year starts next year, next month.
well,
I'll make that as a motion.
sir. Motion has been made and second, all in favor. The way
Aye.
the engagement letter.
Go ahead.
The engagement, is that what you were saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sounds good. So if y'all get
Get
it
it to you as soon as we can.
thank you so much.
I didn't get complete vote. Who all voted yes? Everybody?
I think, everybody, roll call, sorry.
Mr. Rich.
Everybody said,
Aye.
Aye.
all right, the ayes have it, so no opposed. So you all get us the
We
engagement.
will. All right, thank you.
The next is to declare item surplus, so, explain that, so.
Okay, she would suggest that we table that because of the restraining order on items at City Hall, and there are hard drives in some of these computers.
What all items do we have? Could we have a list or?
Yeah, I can
I mean,
pass
I
it
had
out.
heard what the items were myself.
Several computers and a
I don't
fax
have that.
machine. So we give something back to the judge.
May
Is
I
that the
ask,
one with the garbage and trash and all that too?
Because the hard drives are on the computers.
may I ask the police if I say,
She's gonna pass each one.
okay, could I ask the police, if you have any surplus cars or anything, equipment or anything, that we're gonna need to include in it, so we can do it all at one time?
I don't have any vehicles included in with it.
So the police, what about the, superintendent of, public works?
I have, I know at least one pickup truck and one dump truck.
So if you would get those items listed and get it to the clerk, please, sir. So we'll take that.
I'll go
I
through mine.
guess until the judge releases the order.
I'll make a motion that we table the, item about surplus equipment right now.
Motion has been made, do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor, starting with, Mr. Councilman Benson.
Second.
No, he made the motion and he seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 The ayes have it, no names. All right, now we'll have now enter an executive session. Have a motion that we now enter into executive session.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session to discuss pending litigation.
Motion has been made in second. Roll call.
Aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Excuse me, before we go, we have, you all forgive me, our accountant, Mark Hardison here. Come on down, Mr. Hardison. I'm sorry. I thought this was.
I think you'll have to wait now. I mean, legally, we've already voted and to go into executive session at this time.
Exactly, I know. Thank you.
Oh, okay, all right. Pull on that door. Pull on that door. Trying to build up.
You don't have to, you don't have to. Like I say, you don't have to really.
How you doing? How you doing?
The witnesses lied on the stand.
Yes.
The Georgia Bureau of Investigation lied on the stand.
That's right.
Yes.
Falsified documents.
That's right.
Yes.
The Secretary of State lied on the stand.
Sure did.
Yes.
Boone from the post office, who started this whole mess, lied on the stand,
Sure did.
Yes.
all to try to make these citizens look guilty.
Once again, it seems as if though the outcry is loud in Willacoochee. People are fed up, they're tired. In fact, they're sick and tired of being tired. And we just heard from, what's your name, my brother?
Gary Hall.
Okay, and you feel like you've been mistreated in what regard?
Regarding voter fraud and just conspiracy.
You feel like it's conspiracy. You feel like that justice has not been served and there's a possibility of a total disenfranchisement of the voters, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what do you think needs to be done?
I feel like the right thing needs to be done is a re-election. Either just give me the title, because I feel deep in my heart and for the citizens speaking of Willacoochee that it was wrongfully done.
And what's your name once again?
Gary Hall.
And you was running for the office of?
Mayor position.
Okay, now, your position, once again, what do you think needs to be done?
I think we should have another election, and I think B.B. should be in jail. By him being in jail, then he should be the mayor. See, this is the reason why it's so important for everybody to vote. People get out there and say, well, there is, well, my little vote, it doesn't matter, but your vote does matter. Every vote counts.
Okay.
He only lost by 2 votes after he had gone to court. They took 2 of those votes away. So now he's only lost by 2 votes. There's no such thing as a runoff because only 2 people running. Okay. However, if just those 2 more people just sit there in their living room in front of the television eating popcorn or whatever they're eating, they could at least have a tie and they had a better chance.
Now let me ask you again, what's your name?
I'm the Reverend Larry O'Hara, District 16 Coordinator for the NAACP.
Okay, now, before I get to the young man here, what's your title, my brother?
Bobby Word, I'm an investigator in the NAACP.
Okay, all right, good. Now, I want to definitely hear you, brother. But, where's Larry Lockett? Larry Lockett, you step around just a minute. I want to do this for a reason. Brother Lockett, why is it that I notice in the community here in South Georgia, it seems like to me that you're on top of everything? What made you call me, number 1? And number 2, what do you think of the people standing behind you for taking on the initiative of voting?
The reason that I called you, Brother Brian, is because I know for us to get the word out throughout Southeast Georgia, throughout the United States, that we have to call for you. I know that it would take time to get the media here.
Yes, sir.
And what I see here today is really sad that we don't have most citizens of Willacoochee, Atchison County, right, in Willacoochee, Georgia, here in support of Mr. Gary Hall.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you very much. So with that as a lead and now going back to you, what do you feel, short form? Number 1, short form, what is the problem over here? Number 1, what happened?
Voters fraud.
Voter fraud, yeah, but what I'm saying is that there was an election, right?
Yes.
Number 1, there was an election. Then number 2,
he set him up. He went out and paid these people to come in and vote.
Okay, you feel like people were paid to come in and vote for him, as you stated earlier. We want to make it very clear so even a little novice will understand to make it clear. Okay, so we have major problems. Now, Mr. Investigator, come on just a minute. Let's just stand right here. Your name is what now?
Bobby Word.
Bobby Word. Where are you from?
I'm from Blackshear, Georgia.
Blackshear. Did you drive all the way over here?
Yes, sir.
Did you get paid for coming over here?
No, sir.
Well, what makes you come over here and tell us what do you think as an investigator for the NAACP, what this branch or this community needs to do? Tell us.
First of all, it's definitely voter fraud. Okay. It's racially motivated. What we have to learn as a people of color, not just black, it's about white. It's white is a color too. Everybody must look at this type of situation will not, and this type of behavior will not be tolerated from those public officials that we have claimed, that we have put our faith in to serve and protect. This man, even the whole city administration seems to think that the laws apply to them, that the laws only apply to the people, but that's not the way. The Constitution was written to protect the people from the oppression and the power of our government, not the opposite like the government seems to think. And this is the problem. Over and over, county after county, is these people get these positions like the chief of police and city administrators and mayors, and they think the law doesn't apply to them. The law applies to everyone. No one is better or above the law. If the president of the United States can be impeached, a mayor should be in prison. So what needs to be done is clearly the whole administration need to be put under federal review. Because this is definitely a crime. A crime is a crime. There's no crime that's greater than other. Ignorance, Georgia law clearly says that ignorance of the law excuses no one. Period. So they need to go to jail.
Once again, why did you come here? Who sent for you? Who sent you here? I mean, how did you get here?
I came here through my district coordinators, which is Larry Lockett and Reverend O'Hara and Mr. Gary Hall. Okay. Mr. Gary Hall has filed the proper paperwork in the courthouse to challenge the election.
That's what I mean.
He, in return, the judge did not rule in his favor for some reason. The judge excused two of the people that found that they was taken off the ballot for fraudulent use, and still did not issue a warrant for their arrest. Not only does the city involved, now it's become to the state court judge has committed treason. The law is clear. Any public official who willfully and intentionally violates their oath of office commits a felony. And any judge, when he acts where he has no jurisdiction, commits treason to this country.
Wow. You all heard it, and your name is once again?
Bobby Worthy.
From the NAACP investigation.
And I feel that the Justice Department need to come down on Willie Coochie, Georgia. They need to come down to Willie Coochie, Georgia as soon as possible.
Y'all have heard the District Coordinator Larry Lockett. You've heard Brother O'Hara. You've heard another investigator from the NAACP. You heard the alleged victim who ran for the office of mayor, feel like he's been mistreated. These people behind him feel like there needs to be something done. They've asked for the Justice Department. They've asked for the Secretary of State to come in. We're looking for justice in South Georgia. We want justice in Brooks County. And we know that the news media should be on top of this. They should not be waiting till next week. They shouldn't wait till next month. The news media in South Georgia, every one of them, should be here this day. But in case they are not here and we don't see them, kvci.blogspot.com. We're going to do what we do because we do it so well. Until next time, bye-bye, be gone. Power to the people, and pass it on, and don't wait so long to get it on, because we are on point when it comes to keeping you informed. Again, KVCI, bye-bye, we're gone. This is KVCI. Now we want to hear from Mr. Hall.
Hello, my name is Gary Hall, and I'm talking about the mayor election that ran in the city of Willow Coochie November the 8th. And in the city election, we was running, and the thing is, on November the 8th, we had pictures that showing that the current mayor, the incumbent, that he was standing 15 to 20 feet on certain occasions. Also, we also had people riding around in the vehicle saying campaigning for Lace in his state car, and also we have people that seen other than Lace Butts give this certain person money, and that is not right. I feel like power and money ran the election.
Myself from any activity with the board until you get that straight.
What are you doing?
I'll be glad to give you an affidavit or a statement or whatever, but until that gets, settled, I don't want anybody thinking that, we're trying to do anything underhanded or above,
I understand that, Ken. I understand it. But as a board member, we have to look into it or have someone look into it.
I understand.
So that's where it has to go from there. It needs to be looked into because I don't want that to fall back in my lap.
So, in essence, then, I need to suspend myself from any activity with the elections office until that gets settled.
What are you doing?
Excuse me, y'all. I was asked a question, and I'd like to respond to you because I am recording. What I'm doing is that I'm recording.
You know what? You should not be doing that without informing us ahead of time.
Okay, let me. You asked me a question. I want to answer, if you allow me. Will you let me answer my question?
Go ahead.
If this is indeed a public meeting, I have a right to do this. It has been proven over and over again in the courts. I go all to these cities, Lakeland, all around. This is what I do. So I'm just recording a public meeting. Now, if what is being discussed would have been determined by you, the chairman, or whoever, if it's possible for you all to go in an executive session to discuss your matters, which I think maybe should have been there, then I know the procedures, and I definitely would not try to come in at his age. But if it's a public meeting, I have a right to record and to record.
He's right.
And so
Okay,
so when you ask, so I just answered your question, and that's my point.
All right, well, we are going to call an executive session at this point. The rest of the meeting is adjourned.
That's not a
Okay,
big deal.
okay.
So
Yeah.
in order to
Yeah.
executive session, you have to state the reason for it. There's only 3 reasons you can go into it. You have to have a motion to go into it. You have to tell us the reason you're going into it. And then when we come back, you have to tell us what was discussed. So.
And there must be a
If it's
vote
legally
on it.
executive session, anything other than that is sunshine.
Okay, so go ahead. What else? I just am feeling very threatened at this point and very just picked on and torn apart for people who have worked so hard trying to put something good together.
On behalf of the Brooks County Board of Education, we welcome you to this occasion. The Equipment 10 has made Brooks County Board of Education a workable organization for all citizens of this community. I'm a witness. I've been in and out of this Board of Education. My family's been in and out of this Board of Education, equipment in Brooks County, for at least 130 years, off and on. So I'm telling you, this is the first time that the Brooks County Board of Education has been here for all the citizens of all the children. I'm from District 5. And you're having a problem, Mr. Maxwell already said, from District 5. For a number of years, I was the only member of the Brooks County Board of Education, only black member of the Brooks County Board of Education. I was so glad when the Equipment 10 made it possible so that the Board of Education would be a board that was responsive to all the people. I was so glad. You don't know what it means when you're in an organization and you want to do the right thing, and you sit up and you see people do the wrong thing, and there's nothing you can hardly do about it. When the Equipment 10 made it possible, and they did make it possible, so that we could increase the number of minorities on the Board of Education. I mean, this really is historic. And maybe some of us don't realize that too. It's one of the greatest things that happened in this county. Ever.
Amen.
Ever. Regardless of what you read in the paper about me and Road and all that about what we are doing, I'm here to tell you what we're doing. We are trying to provide quality education for all the children of all the people. We're also trying to make it possible that we can participate in this Board of Education. And that what we do is responsive to the needs of all the people. So, in my conclusion, I'd like to thank the Equipment 10 again for making the Brooks County Board of Education a workable organization. Thank you.